Good evening, everyone. Drake Hawkins again, playing some more Factorio. This is Deathworld Season 5, Episode 91. We've got some work to get done. I'm not certain how exactly I am going to be doing all this, but I think what we'll do is start by extending these. All this being sciencing. Surprise, surprise, we're eventually sort of kind of actually getting towards it. And I say towards, not in actually it yet. I suppose it would be a little presumptuous to say that we're actually going to get science properly operating at any point today, but we'll get half a step at least. I guarantee at least half a step closer. The purpose and intent and indeed some action towards getting getting it online. I'm gonna have I got some seriously weird audio effects going on, and I do not know why. And that speed mod, or that beacon has never been beaconing, but it doesn't really need to be because we don't have artillery issues. I think what's strange is that we don't have any artillery firing because we don't, like, I would have to manual this artillery in, so I mean, I could do that. Let's do a bit. You hear the crackling? Like, I don't know what would be causing that. Is that a game issue with the current build? I didn't have it before, because my computer recently had started having problems with something. Man, I wish I knew. I've tried to figure it out a couple times and have not had any results. I've had literally no results, as in I did not find a single thing to fix. I didn't find any settings to adjust. I don't, like... I guess I could check, I could grab maybe my son's headset and set it up and see if that's causing it. I'll think about trying to do that. Borrow his hardware and see if I can find what's causing it. But it's the jittery, it's the chittering, chattering of the sound, where it's like cutting little bits of sound packs are getting through and others aren't. It's like almost a staticky. I don't know what it is. Anybody has any clue? You know, this guy's going a little bonkers trying to figure it out. Wasting copious amounts of time trying to figure things out that I have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, I also have no idea why I left a big cluster of worms right there. At some point. I mean, I've got artillery shells for days. I would literally have to have somebody playing multiplayer with me just using the artillery controls every 5 or 10 seconds using the long range fire, because we just don't have the range to get to them. The artillery that I can fire manually, I can target like this manually at like way bigger range. Like, if I can hit pretty much anything on the screen with my artillery with these things. I think pretty much anything anywhere. I can hit this edge of this screen right there. That's wild. Like, legit, I can fire an artillery right in there, look. Gonna get here. Oh, come on. Come on, Shell, you can make it. I'm waiting for this one. There it is. Oh, the light went off, which means the shot's been fired. Kabam! And I can... No artillery ammo in range. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, we can... I love that the artillery leaves a blaze of vision, because it's got an active radar in it. But yeah, I can fire that far, but my actual artillery range, if I shut pollution off, when I've got this thing active, is that. So I can't hit these ones up here. What I can hit is everything in the map. If I don't have this active, that's the artillery range. The automated artillery is really short range. So, anyways, I digress, as I usually do. We're going to need to make red and green science. Green science is going to need belts and inserters. And red science is just gears and copper. So I'm going to bring up a belt of green. I'm going to bring up a belt of copper and a belt of iron. And we'll go from there. That's not the item I wanted active. Wrong belt. Wrong auto belt. Let's start in here. And I guess here. And then here for another one. There we go. Do this. Oh, autosave. And I'll do that. waterfall, as somebody recently called them. Now, I had a suggestion that I was doing the waterfalling wrong. You guys let me know if you agree, disagree, or don't really care either way. The notion that the waterfall should be on the takeoff should be after the belt, so I should do it like this to re-add things into the belt. The reason I do them the way I do is because the purpose is to drive everything down to the feed at all times. Hear that audio? It's like too many audio effects at once, and it feels like it's skipping them. So this one is being driven, forcing all of this copper to make sure this belt is always full. That's the purpose of the waterfall to me. Not to refill or rebalance this belt afterwards. I do not want the belt balanced afterwards. I want the belt to show off when it starts to drain, because then I will bring more copper and add it into the system to continue its production, or its efficiency. I don't know if that's how you guys do it, and I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's how I does it. That's the logic behind there. I'm not trying to add stuff back to the belt so that the belts are rebalanced. I'm trying to compress the belts. If you don't have to balance, you don't have to balance 4 belts ever. You never have to balance a line of belts if they're compressed. It's never effective, in my opinion. So that's the logic behind that, anyways. Is it wrong? It could be. There. All right. We have some product coming here. Now, where do I want our science to go? Our science is currently sitting over here. And it's odd, but I could honestly just leave it. It would not matter. But I don't know if this is like, we don't even need to beacon the science, really. We really don't need to. It speeds up each cycle of each thing, but just more labs is literally, in my opinion, just as effective. Now, the productivity module ones are not what I want in there, right? So I think we will build a new lab cluster, but speeding up the labs makes no sense to me. Because here's the thing: a lab is supposed to, not lab, the science of, in this case, the slightly stalled, only briefly stalled, research on the Spidertron. Does not matter how fast these 2500 research beacons get done, at 0 factor on the speed. It's always going to be 2500. So if you have a the science that speeds up the labs, or you have a research lab, if I actually had such a thing, which I don't. A doesn't has one. There you go. So if I have a lab, it does not matter when the production bar that goes across and adds to it, it counts as an extra lab. So I always want to have 3 production 3 mods in here for sure, like 100%. Those have to be prod 3s. Boom. Which will mean that we get a 20%. Every 5 runs, we get an extra one. We get 25% free research. So that's great, because that's the end of a long chain of a lot of production. Okay, the idea of putting speed beacons on these makes really no sense to me. So if this is one and it's got, well, let's see, we could fit, I mean, if we had them in a row, right, you'd have 8 speed mods, or 8 speed beacons on each one, right? So let's just do a bit of mathy thinkiness. If I could maybe just grab some from down here is what I'll do. Right? You're going to have 4. That's the most you can fit around the side of it when you're doing them in a row, right? Now, if I were to just cluster them around, like cycle, I could have, like, I guess you can't have 2 straight on, but I could have more like this, right? I could do that, and then we could have a row of them down here, and we could put, you know, all the stuff could come on an underground to here, from, you know, underneath like this. That would be give us our 3 supply, and each machine would be like, yeah, I'm surrounded by a ton of them. Right. All that's doing is making this faster and costing a copious amount of power, right? Each of these things is draining 480 kilowatts of power. Just this one. Right, so we're going to have 12 of those for each machine. So, assuming that rounding that up to half a megawatt of power, we have 6 megawatts of power just to run one lab. Sure, it'll be fast, but how fast? I don't know how quick it's going to be. It's going to be some percentage times the other ones. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and just place it in there and make it the real ones then. There you go. And let's do it right. Let's do an actual, some actual, you know, numbery things. Whatever they're called. Math, I think you guys call them. All right, and then it's like this, right? Can I make that lab any different? No. See, then this is going to have a separate feed too. Interesting. There's probably a better way for this, right? And then I put production 3 modules in there, right? So there's our speed. It is 16.08 research speed versus this guy by himself. That is 16.8, huh? So if I have production mods in there, this is 1.68. This is 16.08. So let's assume that 1.6 versus 16. Okay, just for rounding math. That would give the advantage in the math to assuming this one is losing some of its speed, right? So same productivity, both productivity modules of 20. So 5 runs gives you 6 beakers, 6 effective finishes. So this is 1.6. This one we count as 16. So this is 10 times as effective. So aside from the fact that this takes, this is more real estate, that is the exact same productivity. In actual fact, it's a good margin more because of the 0.08 versus this one, which is, this is basically 0.8 speed more than this one. So it's almost 17 out of these 10 as opposed to 16.08 speed out of these. And the power consumption on these is 156 kilowatts. That's 660 kilowatts. Why is that so much more consumption? Why is that one more than this one? Why is this lab legitimately taking more power? 1000%. Shouldn't be. Oh, because of its speed. It gets... Oh my goodness. Its power actually goes up too. I thought it was just the power of these guys. Good gracious. It's not. It's not just the power of these guys. The increased speed makes it go even worse. Oh my, okay. So that's even more power drain. So altogether, this is 6.5. Let's round that down to 500 kilowatts. Round those up to 500. You got about 6.5 megawatts of power. Whereas these are 1.5 megawatts of power. And the exact same speed. These are actually faster than one of these. So where is the advantage? And I don't even know if these would feed. I don't know that we can put belts. Yeah, we could probably still put belts on there pretty quick. Or items on there fast enough. So I don't feel the value in... you guys can chime in, please do. But I don't feel the value in having speed beaconed science. It just doesn't jive with me as a effective way to science. I don't know. A bigger array of science pads, and all of a sudden I feel like it's just perfectly fine. So if I'm gonna go with those like here, I think 5 deep is probably plenty. Assuming that we can feed that belt. Whenever I get like countering effects, like audio effects, so I'm placing one of these, right, versus placing, let's see, right, makes that sound. it's 10 versions or 9 versions or whatever that was of the same sound effect. I feel like it might be something strange happening with the multiplying of the sound. I'm not sure. All right. To be honest, we'll just do. Can we do these? Yeah. I'm fiddling. I'm having fun. I'm sorry. Drake is actually mathing. Be careful, guys. You'll be staring at the screen being like, catch up, buddy. Catch up. We figured that one out 3 hours ago. You've only been going for 15 minutes. We had that one figured out before you started. Alright, so belt-wise, what we need to feed here is effectively 4 supplies of belts. Because there's 8 types, or 7 types of research that needs to come in here. So, a couple ways we can do that. Now, these things don't have the hyperspeed. So if we do that, we can feed off of this space and this space. Correct? But if I also do this, then we're feeding off of 2 instances of these spaces. So what I can do is that. Right there. Now instead of this blue belt, what I'm going to do is have a set of undergrounds. So each of these has to have a different input position. So blue here, 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 and then it goes nowhere, honestly. And then I'm going to copy that because I want that entire thing duplicated right beside it, right? Like that. So now we have one set of belts feeding, but these other hands are not feeding. So if I do red belts, from wherever they feed to, like that. That's the wrong way, isn't it? It is. Don't put them backwards, Drake. You'll be confused later. I'll fix that one. Nope. Alright, now make sure I did those right. I'm sure there's at least one of them. That one's backwards. There we go. So now we have 4 belts, so we can bring in a belt of something and something here. 2-sided belt here, and then a 2-sided belt here. So we've got 8 inputs into the labs. Right, now we could extend these even further. On the other hand, we could also take it and flip it, but I think we'll keep it this way, and then if I want more, we got more space up here, right? I could take this entire thing, copy and paste this entire beast right on down there, and it would work just fine. So, so that's the idea. Now, of course, the more labs is great. I don't know how far they can chain without actually causing problems. So this lab will ask for 2 helpings of whatever, of all the beacons that are all the research packs that are currently being requested by the Spidertron. So Spidertron takes 6 of the 7. Okay. The only other one that's missing is the white research, which comes from launching a rocket. Allows sending satellites into space and receiving scientific data from them used to produce space science packs. So we've got 6 of the 7 needed for this thing. So these labs will request all 6 of them from the inserter attached to them. So it'll grab them from these ones, which will then have less than it needs, so it'll grab them from these ones and it'll chain back. The problem is if you keep going too far, the one at the end is always feeding and emptying out this one before it gets, and then this one ends up waiting for the next input. Because these guys aren't hyper fast, so there's some sort of physical limit to that. So that being said, if that's where we set that up, I should set up the red and green science. That's probably not outside of my purview of intellectual capacity today. Let's give it like a couple spaces of emptiness here. Okay, and I'll leave that, try to leave that like, let that run quite a ways here. Just so I can be reasonable with it. Yoink, yoink, yoink. Okay, so that general idea, right? And then along the... I don't think any of this is going to matter right here. Oops, 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 it does. It does. It matters. It really matters to me. I just disconnected all those pumps. I'm a genius. SMRT. There we go. I was just thinking that running down that path and then hitting the post would be annoying. Over here, if we then give a tile or so space and we set up our science, our red and green science. Now, I don't know how much we're going to do. I'm thinking I don't need a crazy... I don't need any, like, science per minute records. You're not going to find those on this channel. But what if I did a single build of the red science? Okay, everybody's like, wow, it's so slow, it's so slow. But then I'm going to put in beacons. You're in here somewhere, yeah? Yeah, you are. There you are. That right there is going to work. And that's the actual range we need. Now, each of these has 4 speed beacons on them. And then on the other side, I can just put in another... Oh, that is a little tight. A little unpleasantly tight, even. Let's slide it over a few tiles, shall we? I love that we just made them pick them all up and move them all over once. Yeah, I'm just like... I'm a tactical genius. I mean, the intelligence level required to play at this skill, guys. Don't even bother trying. I mean, just don't. Musk wouldn't be as fast as me. Or as smart. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna bring in gears here, and then we'll off-put the beacon, the stuff, so you guys can grab like this. You'll be pretty quick. I can't say they'll be like hyper speed or anything. No ludicrous speed going on here. There, and there, and then I want a green output here, a couple green inputs there. We need a copper line to feed in like this. Boop. Yeah, that'll work. Copper on the inside, iron on the outside. I need an iron line to come in like this, then probably we should maybe just grab that guy. Feeds better when he's not in the corner. So there's an iron and a copper line to start with. Okay, I will feed that here. Why all the way back there? I'm not sure. Probably because I don't want to cluster up stuff here when I can... That effect. You hear that? Did you guys back that up? Hear that effect? That's what I'm trying to fix. Oh, I thought something just exploded. It wasn't. It was the flyby. Jeepers. That was a little unnerving. There, and then I actually do want... That. Just crazy train. Literally crazy train. There. This guy can come down. You're gonna come here. You're gonna come across here. So we got that. Good. Down here somewhere. Okay. So we got iron. We got copper. We got stuff. Right? Good. Now, iron and copper goes into that beast right there. We bring some power down this general direction. Power this general direction as well. There we go. And then on the other side, I'm going to do... Yeah, that audio clipping bugs the daylights of me. And this side's going to have our belts and inserters running on it. Over here, we're going to have the green science. There. Good. There and there. Boom. Like that. Lovely. Oops. Might as well use them if I'm going to use them. Use them properly if you're going to use them at all. And then that gives us... Oh, and this doesn't work here. There. Alright. And to make those, I guess we'll make those down here somewhere. You can make them attached to... Oh, okay. I see. Hold on. Do that again. And then I need a gears and a belt up here. How are we going to do this? There and there. This guy's going to be gears. I think this guy needs inserters. Gears, green, and iron. This guy's going to make belts with plate. You need iron plate and gears. You need iron plate and gears. Never made one with speed modules before. Weird. Do we do half a belt? No. Belt and gears and stuff. I want to use these modules, right? I want to try to make it so that it's not necessary at all. At this point, nothing's necessary, per se. I go that way, and you get your iron feed, and then you get an iron feed as well. So if we have the iron feed coming in here, we got these guys grabbing there. You grab there. Of course, we'll power everything there and there. You guys gonna need iron and gears, so the iron's gonna have to come down far enough to reach there. And then all you're gonna need is green circuits. So I won't need more than a red belt of green circuits in here. And then we put a blue belt output like that. And then this is going to have to feed to the inside. Let's do it like this, so it's actually compressed, or compact, I should say. The word I'm looking for. Is that fast enough to output? No, it's not. Now that and that. We could make these into production mods for all of this. Not 100% sure that that is going to work well, though. Okay, and then this gets an iron feed. Nice. I did that entirely backwards. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. So smart. I'm so smart. How many of you noticed that before and were like, oh, he's doing it again? Dumb has struck. I'll end this feed on this side first. Oops. My bad. Let's take the copper off first, shall we? Copper comes off here. And I'll connect it in there when it's time. And the iron feed can come there. Oops. And then the circuit feed can come in there. That's interesting. Well done, Drake. Alright. Oh, what? That's the one, okay. And then for this, I'm just gonna, you know, do a bit of housekeeping. Alright. My bad. Don't know what you're talking about. It was all fine from the beginning, guys. I'm not keeping my robots overly busy. So that goes up to the top. Whoops. And feeds that. That guy just comes down there. The green circuits needs to come up here. So there. Oh, and I need to actually feed that green circuits in. There. Correct? Now, I don't know how we're going to beacon the machines themselves. You guys can fire in your 2 cents on that one. That's a noisy robotic place. Alright, so these guys are the slow ones, right? I think we might need to... You're not overly slowed there. Okay, so that's not the slowdown. Oh no, the machine's empty. Sorry. We'll see. We'll find out later what the slow up is. It's probably perfectly fine. Now these guys are running at almost 3 3/4% or 3 3/4 speed, which a default is 1 1/4, I believe. So you know, that's why it says 200%, right? So they're not hyper fast. I could move this whole thing and add beacons on the other side as well. It's a little overkill. You know, a set of 4 beacons attaching to each of these is probably a simple enough way to do the science builds going forward. So then this beast right here comes up and works its way towards the magic here and joins in here. Right, there we go. Now we got our beacons online. Now, if I go, say, over here and I tell this to disassemble, as wonderful as it once was, you just disassemble that entire menagerie there, and this one, and this one here, and this one here. All those labs will go back in. I don't know how many they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is 10, right? And how many did I put here? The same thing here. So that's all the labs we need to fill that. That's fine. Okay. It works. Blue is the next step up. Are we even... No, we're already at the half-hour mark. I'm not even going to start on blue other than to talk about it. The idea then is going to be military science and blue science will share this sort of a build layout so that the labs themselves run at equivalent type of a build. So if we have a military build in here, and then we have, well, basically this, right? What I want is this sort of thing-ish here. Sort of. I understand they don't quite work the same way. But instead of that, these guys become, let's say, the military science, right? But this is not going to fit, obviously. But, there. But instead of green, these guys... Hello. Put them in, please. Instead of green, these guys are going to be the blue science, or chemical science packs. Right? And military does what? How frequently? Yeah, military comes out at 2x. These come out at 2x as well. So if I want to produce an equivalent number of blues and military to the greens and reds, what I'm going to do is they build 12 machines running this is 1 chemical plant per cycle. Giant air quotes. Okay, so we've got that. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. On these guys, I think we have a similar sort of build. They're 10 seconds timing, so 5 of those are the same equivalent productivity as this, assuming that all of these latch in to produce the same volumes. So there. And this lab, of course, has to run right to the end, so that the furthest one is touching there. So that's, all of those have 4 speed beacons on them. All of these have 4 speed beacons, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on each of them. And then this is all blue science. And that's the general gist of it. So I want them to export their belts or their packs onto this. And then tomorrow we'll or in a couple days when we do the next one, we'll try to figure this set out and the components that it needs to feed in to do to keep up with these machines. It's going to be a lot, I'm going to imagine, because they have 3 components. They've got engines, red circuits, and sulfur. The red engines and the sulfur will make on site. The red circuits, I don't know if we will. We'll probably have to. We'll have to make them on site. We certainly will have to because, well, no, because most of the science right now is going, most of the science, circuits are going into module production, right? We don't have any modules waiting for production. We have 0 modules waiting to be built. So where's our mods set up? These guys right here. They've got hundreds and hundreds of them. In fact, they probably didn't have a limiter put on those machines. Really? What's going on here? Oh, I prioritized the bottom. Look at that, I did too. That's a little... Oh, no, they are limited. There you go, that one's actually filled now. He's filled back up, so now the blue should back up from this line. Starting to, I think... Does the blue prioritize the other facility first? It does not. So it shares it. We don't have a lot of blue circuits coming out here, right? That's part of the problem. But these guys are they still stacked? Oh, they're not. They're not full, but I'm gonna even further limit. I'll leave that one at that size, and I'll drop these guys down to like 250 per set. Except for how do I do this? I take the logistics order for that and remove it, and then I take them. Otherwise, it won't work. There, and then we can put those in there. Done and done, right? Excellent. So that machine and that line and that line will all fill up their whatevers and then stop. It's good. And that guy can go there. There, we're almost full on 1,500 speed module 3s. So we're not going to be strapped for those at all. So now all of that, most of that productivity is only to replace whatever I build, okay? So these guys will go online when we do a big build with a bunch of them. They do a set like that, and you know, 2 dozen maybe get dropped. These guys run it for a few seconds, and then they stop. That's not going to be the main drain on there. So the blue circuits will need a lot of time to keep up. They won't really keep up. But the red, probably I can pull a line off there. What do you guys think? Can I pull red circuits off of this build? Like it's fully backed up right now. It's just trickling little bits to feed whatever's going on up here right now. Even when these turn on in full speed, we won't really demand much of them for very long. So my thought is to be able to pull this belt of red right off the line. Pull it right up here and feed it here. Or do we build the red circuits on site? So, things to think about, things to chat about in the comments. We definitely have to build the engines here, and we'll just produce the sulfur here. It's really, really cheap and easy to build. And we got oil right there. Like, we could really quick. Alright, that's going to be it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me, and we'll see you in game.